our bodies are used to tell stories, and then we are like sometimes just placeholders for, you know, publicity and marketing, but we really don't understand, and we are not in the rooms which explain how a film is put together. And that's when it started, something started moving in my head, that why aren't more actors in India producers?
It's hard, you know, producing is hard.
It is.
But setting up an organization is even harder because this is not like, there's no tangible. You know, it's not like we're building an IP that has a value that you're selling. You know, this is upskilling. It's not something one person can do. It needs a village.
You're watching The Hollywood Reporter India at Cannes 2025. Associate partner Longitude 77. Travel partner Air France. Hydration partner Vedika Himalayan Spring Water. And luxury mobility partner BMW. Guneet, Tillotama, it is so lovely to have you on The Hollywood Reporter India.
Thank you, Anupama, for having us.
Thank you, Anu, for having us.
You both look glorious in Cannes.
Thank you, so do you.
You know, you're both film festival veterans, but this year is special because you're both here with Women in Film India. And to begin with, Guneet, just start by telling our viewers what this is and what is the attempt here.
You know, thank you. And I think it's just been a dream for many years to have a collective, to have a support system. Because over the years, I have been mentored by so many amazing organizations, institutes. The first time ever I came to Cannes was under a scholarship with IFP in New York. I was very lucky to get Film Independent mentorship, Sundance mentorship, and Women in Film LA mentorship during the Oscars, you know. They were just there for me. There was somebody that we could ask questions for. There was the power of a cohort, you know. So you build a group. The first time ever when I came to Cannes, I was in the Producers Network in 2011. And it changed my life because I was with a bunch of amazing producers being mentored every day, breakfast meetings. And, you know, a lot of people don't attend that. As a result of that, I was able to step up and do a co-production, understand a co-production, and actually put together and structure Lunchbox. Even though Lunchbox had very little, you know, connect with an international co-production, but it really blossomed and became a really big, amazing film because one could understand how to use what is already available, how to use the treaties.
Yeah.
So there's so much resources available. There are parallel programs that happen at festivals like Cannes we don't know about. And if there is little bit that we can do to push the incredible women producers, directors, you know, honestly our stats are so low. We are less than 8% across. We are less than 4% in directors. So there's so much to do in every department. To begin with, we don't even have a database.
Yeah.
We don't even know if we are 50 or 50,000 or 500,000 is together. Which section across the spectrum needs support or needs mentorship? So this is a very broad stroke introduction, but it is upskilling. It is something that can allow us to harness our skills, even if we know, and especially for mid-career people, mid-career women, it's amazing, men and women. Producers Network is an amazing program. So this was our first time setting up Women in Film India with support of Women in Film LA and a scholarship, a fellowship for 3 women to come and attend Producers Network. The entries had shut, but all the years of
Relationship building.
relationship of women in film, because there are chapters around the world, everybody came together, LA office came together and hustled and got 3 seats, and we interviewed a bunch of amazing women, and here is Tillotama, Rucha, Pathak and Dimpi Agarwal. So very happy, and you know, I'd love you to talk about it, but it's so much and it's so fulfilling and it's so overwhelming because I'm not here with a film.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm here with an organization that is literally taking birth. So I'm just so happy, and I feel like, how do one even gives back? All these years of so much information, you know, and it's so hard to explain it one-on-one, but here is an organization that can possibly make that bridge.
Yeah. No, Women in Film India is an idea that should have happened years ago and took a while to take shape and come back. It did happen years ago, and alert on conflict of interest, I am on the board. But Tillotama, we know you as an incredible actor, and you're here as a producer. I think the first film that you are actually a producer on is Baksho, right? Shadowbox,
Yes.
which I read incredible reviews of and which premiered at the Berlin Film Festival. Is producing for you a way to get films that you want to be in made, or do you see it as an actual parallel track that you want to pursue now along with the acting career?
I think it really started with a sense of um, wanting respect, essentially, because our bodies are used to tell stories, and then we are like sometimes just placeholders for, publicity and marketing, but we really don't understand, and we are not in the rooms which explain how a film is put together. And honestly, I never thought about becoming a producer. It was just that Baksho was a very special project, and our lead producer, Naren Chandavarkar, was so open when he saw my involvement with the script right from the beginning, because I was part of it for 6 years.
Wow.
And draft after draft. And by the time we shot the film, even the scenes that were not there in the shooting draft, they all lived within me. All the scenes that were not there, and that's when something started moving in my head, that why aren't more actors in India producers? Because when you know the whole picture, that we have this location only for half a day, if we spill out of this, then it impacts the budget of the film, will increase by a day or two. Involving an actor in, if they're ready, to be a part of the, these kind of decisions, and to have this kind of information actually makes you a part of creating the solution when there is a problem.
Yeah.
As opposed to feeling like, I don't know what this production is doing. Why am I waiting here?
Yeah.
Why are the dates changing? There's a sense of, you feel like you're hard done.
Yeah.
And it creates an immense amount of unnecessary, I think, angst.
Yeah.
But for this, there was none of that. There was none of that, because I knew how important it was for us to finish the day as it was, and if there is a problem, how can we figure it out? That means if you have to pull up a scene, I'm already prepared. I'm already prepared with any scene that can be shot.
In a sense, it actually makes you a better actor.
It does.
Yeah.
It really does, because it pushes you to think about the whole thing as opposed to just your part in it. But I think the reason we were given only our part to play was because people didn't want to share control. Because it's ego, right? But who does it hurt and who does it serve?
Yeah.
I really felt, if everyone's agenda is the film and the well-being of the film, then you would make your actors producers if they have an appetite for it, and if they're well prepared to do their job, firstly. And I had that time, 6 years with the film, to be able to think of another role without compromising my work as an actor.
But it's not a one-off.
It's not a one-off, especially because this collective that came together for Baksho is quite a startling revelation for us.
17 producers?
19 now.
19,
Yeah,
wow.
we had 2 more come on board in Berlin. Seeing the energy of this group, and led primarily by Somo and Tanushri's energy and integrity and transparency, and the desire, and all the producers who came on board were not, they gave money. We de-risked the entire development process and producing process, but no one having to give too much. So it wasn't a pressure on anyone. What if,
Correct.
what if we don't reach our goals? What happens then, or the stress? So we de-risked the entire process by having people who came on board not just as financiers, but as creative producers. Everyone took an aspect of the film's journey that they were good at. So that really helped. There were people who were amazing in the development phase of the script, people who were amazing because of the relationships they had for the festival journey, and then of course,
So it's a relay race.
it's a
right?
relay race. It's totally that,
Yeah. Yeah. Nice.
But the best part for me, Anupama, was let's say a distribution conversation, because that's the part of the puzzle, like I told Guneet, that I know the least about. I could raise money for the film. I could be part of the festival programming, conversation with sales agents, etc. But the part that I didn't know was the distribution. And what I loved is in this collective, in this cohort, they allowed us to be part of all these conversations. So speaking to what Guneet is doing and is fighting so hard to do is to get us into rooms where we may not be eligible because we don't have the experience. But if you don't get us in the room, we'll never skill up. So to be in a distribution conversation was incredible, and that's when it started. I started feeling that the meta narrative around what is the future of films, it's so doomsday-ish.
It is.
Right?
It is.
But I think we need to change that. I think it's important for us to share a narrative which is positive at this moment. And I think the way one can, do that is by saying that things are changing rapidly. And, what are you going to do with that change? The structures that we knew are collapsing.
Yep.
And new things are going to be built. How can we be part of building a new foundation? And for me, Baksho really gave me that faith that 19 people could come together without any fights, any clashes, no ego hassles on who's the big boss, no first in, last in, first out, none of that. It was a King Arthur's table. And it gives me a lot of hope, and that's when I realized that I want to learn more. And I don't need to necessarily act in the film. If it helps the film, if it helps controlling the budget of the film, if it helps in the distribution of the film, but if it's something that I don't even fit in, I would love to support. I would love to learn. It's more than, it's not support, it's not some altruism, because, I want to learn. I had 19 people, helping me in this journey. Yeah, and now Guneet has opened our world to 1900 more. and yeah, I think it's a long game. I think like any educational, any skilling up, it's a long game. It's not a quick thing. Yeah. And so I think the timing of it was...
And it's hard, producing is hard.
It is.
But setting up an organization is even harder, because this is not like, there's no tangible. It's not like we're building an IP that has a value that you're selling. This is upskilling. It's almost like, educational, soft, all the nurturing. And it's not something one person can do. It needs a village. And I'm very, very grateful to my incredible board that came together, and very grateful to Women in Film LA. It's been 2 years in building.
I know.
It's been midnight calls over 2 years. What shows up as, 3 women here walking and learning. There's so many hours of work that went behind it to just get to here, to hopefully make it sustainable and to make it consistent. Because what I'm very excited about is that we come from India. We work in a 100% equity industry. And when we come to Europe, when we go to Canada, when we learn how films happen in US or in Australia, New Zealand, Korea, every country has a different structure. Where do you even learn that knowledge from? We're so busy being in our own market, understanding our own way of working, ki aise package karo, ye actor lo, itna mein satellite becho, aise karo, whatever. And it's great, there's no right and wrong way. There are 1,000+ films happen and films make money and the whole works. It's a thriving enterprise.
Yeah.
But there are many more stories waiting to be told. And there is many more learnings waiting to be...
And more ways to do it.
Absolutely.
Right? It's not the
and
one.
That know-how.
Yeah.
And that know-how. So when you come to Europe, you learn that, all the funding is government financed. And it is soft money. And how does one even access it? India has treaties with so many countries. It comes with rules, regulations. So producers are literally at the center of deciding the future of a film. And if you have the know-how on how to navigate a festival, which sales agent, not like sales agent se kuch nahi hota, festival mein sirf art house filmein jaati hain. All these are,
Old school notions.
Kill was not art house.
Yeah.
Lunchbox festival mein aakar duniya bhar gayi, made millions. Made 100 crores plus around the world.
As did All We Imagine Is Light, which
As
won
did-
here last
absolutely.
year. Yeah, it was released in like 80+ countries.
And a completely different model of producing.
absolutely.
I mean, they didn't take
And
private
put
equity.
India on the map.
Yeah.
And put India on the
And
map.
put India on the map, yeah.
So each one of these films is taking our country, our language, our color forward. And that is what should be done at a larger scale. And I just feel like this organization that is taking birth right now, with so many heads thinking about it, with so many hours of work, and how do we do this? Because we only come from an equity industry and not like institutional building. I hope and pray that this outlives me. This is not about me. This is not even about the 20 people, 21 people on the board. It's about so many people to walk through this and take our country forward. Be able to collaborate with a global market. So this is one of the programs. At Women in Film, we'd love to do master classes. We'd love to do everything upskilling, from labs. I just feel like so many international filmmakers have this access in their countries, and we don't in India. We don't have it in a structured way. And we have some of it with the Film Bazaar, and we had Mami that was doing a lot of heavy lifting. But doing it here where the whole world is coming and talking, and there's a huge power of cohort. What Rucha, Dimpy and Tilly will be living together for 10 days, building this, meeting so many, spreading out, navigating, networking, pushing each other.
And sharing.
Yeah.
I was on this
Sharing
table,
it.
what happened? You were on this table, what happened?
Tell me about this, because you're coming here from a producer's breakfast.
Yes.
Right? What happens at this producer's breakfast?
So there are around 12 to 14 tables, and you queue up an hour before if you want to get in. And you research on the people that are speaking, and who you think there would be an interest that you're interested in, that the scripts that you've come here with, that you might want to pitch, might want to learn. So you do that the night before. You research on who you want.
So full homework has to be
Full
done.
homework, yeah. You research on who you want to talk to, and then try, and it's like you have to run to get to that table before anyone.
dating?
No, so
There's no
it's
speed
one
dating,
mentor,
It's one person.
14
You
tables,
sit with
14
them.
mentors.
Yeah. You sit with them for the whole
2 hours of conversation. And one table I think has 10 people, one moderator, one mentor, and 10 participants. So 140 people in one go are in a room on 14 tables, and each table is led by a certain mentor. So it's great that there are 3 of them, at least they get 3 tables covered and share knowledge and information, and it's,
Oh, exciting. Are you pitching a script here?
So that's what I told Guneet. I'm developing my own script.
To direct?
I just want to finish the screenplay first, and not get ahead of myself. But and I was not so sure if I was ready to pitch. But it happened organically on one table that I felt comfortable. And I think the more I do it, the more comfortable I'll get with the idea of speaking about something that I've guarded for so long, for the words to come out of my mouth. But it's not just my film, and there are other, filmmakers, and I'm not even acting in those films, that I'm very interested in seeing who are in these rooms that I could connect them with, even if it's in a soft, informal kind of way. And because, Anupama, when I did Monsoon Wedding, it was the first time I sat on a flight, thanks to Mira selecting Nasir and me to travel the film. I'd never sat on a plane before. And then I get there in Venice, and we were walking down, the road, and Mira said, "What's your dream? You have to think local. You have to be local, but think globally, And your roots can be deep, but your branches can be really wide. So what's the plan? What are you going to do after this?" I said, and I said, I want to study and travel the world. She said, "Then you must. Do you want to come and stay with me?" I said, "No, I don't want to stay with you." But then she really inspired me to push, and from where I came from, to even put together the money for TOEFL and GRE, and applying to 3 universities took me 4 years. After 4 years, I'm a product of an incredible scholarship called the INLAC Scholarship. I got that to be able to study. And my ability to see the world is shaped by not just the filmmakers I worked, but the genesis of that scholarship. So in my mid-40s, you think now, who will give you a scholarship? Because you're not a young person you think would be eligible for a scholarship. but this was so interesting for me. And what happens to women in their 40s, like this mid-career, we are forced to vanish, and I think that's unacceptable.
Yeah.
By 2025, there will be built-in women in their menopause, in their mid-40s, in our country alone.
Yeah.
Are we saying that they don't matter? Their stories don't matter.
Yeah.
Their agency doesn't matter. And there is a shift that happens. And I often, as a menopausal woman, I often go through periods of extreme brain fog. But there's something, when there's clarity, those moments of clarity, I can get more done than I got done in my 20s, And that clarity is hard earned through these last 2 decades,
Yeah.
So when Guneet came and said that this scholarship is for mid-career women, mid-career producers for this particular thing, it really resonated with a need, I think, I think we may not appreciate it right now, but when we see those numbers, the number of women who are in their mid-careers, who have a huge amount of experience, I think we need to rethink, and we'll understand the value of what she's doing. It may not happen immediately. Like in the animal kingdom, the most intelligent mammal, if you see the whales, when they travel, it is the oldest matriarch that is given the most amount of respect, the most amount of protection in the pod, because they have the experience of navigation.
Yeah.
They have seen the ocean more than anybody else. So I think what Guneet is trying to do is to be able to respect, nurture, and upskill people who've actually navigated a lot, but are somehow aged out and forced to expire, when actually their brain is going through the most exciting reboot, and it's a second life, And so it's very, very exciting.
Thank you,
really
Tilly. But I
exciting for me.
actually really feel that we're in a business where it takes around a decade to just get your footing.
Yes.
We're just in that business. It's not like you get nobody here is coming and giving
Yeah.
you a promotion.
Yeah.
Nobody coming here and giving you more money for the same work you do, right? It takes 2 to 3 years to make any film, one film. We're all working on multiple projects, trying to get something made against so many odds. So even to understand an opportunity like this, one needs to have made 1 or 2 films. So you know the right questions to ask.
Yeah.
You know what are the challenges that one faced. So this is a very mid-career program. It's not an entry-level program, not at Cannes. I think everybody should come and Cannes, watch films, understand, and have exposure. We internally call this program exposure, But after you've made 1 or 2 films, your brain starts opening up on what else can I do, and then you're like, oh, I can structure things like this. A producer does everything, and it's incredible to see 19 people come together in a collective, but that is usually what a producer is doing the whole works, from raising the money to distributing,
Alone.
thinking, one person, thinking through, thinking on the feet, how to put this film on the map, how to expand the the footprint. There's no right and wrong, but if there is an IP, how do you do justice to it by expanding the footprint of it? To have those contacts, to have that language, to have that vocabulary. And what women in film globally is a huge sisterhood. So tomorrow, if Tilly or if any participant or I think one of the most important thing for us at Women in Film is that we have a website and for everybody to join it, so that we can then start telling people of programs and even start applying to those programs and having a circle of of people that we are in touch with. That is, I think, at the root of it, and also then building a knowledge of which department can we do more work in, what mentorship. Does a music mentorship move the needle? Does a sound mentorship move the needle? We will pick up the calls on Women in Film globally to 50 plus chapters around the world and make things happen, make mentorship happen. And that is a huge superpower behind us. So tomorrow, if you're going to a country, any of the members are going to a country, and if there is a chapter there, that chapter will help you. You will have to, just to be able to navigate vendors, to be able to ask questions, nothing is a silly question.
Right.
You know, and that is a superpower. To just plug into this already existing global network with 1,000 films a year. We don't have any chapter in India. And that just was like, let's try and make it happen. I don't know how. And there is some power that is just pushing us, and this incredible board that I just keep shamelessly asking that, can you please do this? Can you please introduce me to 5 more people? Can you please post this? So more and more people know about it. And thank you for this opportunity, you know, to let us talk about it, because this is not a film and it is not a production house. And it's not funding for a film.
It's vital.
It's so vital.
It's vital.
It's an institute. It should be an institute. And it's a start.
So Guneet, before we end, share the website. How do people get in touch? How do women across India engage? Just tell people that.
So it's www.womeninfilmindia.org.
Okay.
And just as you open the website, there's a join us button. So just join us so then we can stay in touch with you. And it's a baby organization. It'll start and it'll grow its legs and soon be pan-India. But I think as we do our international programs, anybody from pan-India can be a participant, you know, and there should be. So we'll be doing a lot of online work, and it'll be nice to be in touch with everybody.
Yeah. So join in and move it forward.
You know, and I want to say this here that I don't even know what is ahead of us. There is so much support that's going to come within India. There are so many women who will be like, I'll do this. You know, we are a team of 2.5 people. You know, and it's millions of us around the world. Like now, Tili, Rucha and Dimpy are so invested, they know the whole story. They're just like, in their own, while they're pitching their films, they're like, we have an organization, would you like to know more and support us? Yes. I mean, amazing. So we don't even know what's coming our way, so more power.
All good things will come.
Yeah.
All good things will come. Thank you, Guneet. Thank you, Tillotama.
Thank you, Anupama.
And have a lovely festival. More power to the both of you.
Thank you for your time and your interest and your mentorship throughout this. Means a lot.
Thank you.
Hi, this is Guneet Monga Kapoor, and you're watching us at Hollywood Reporter India.
Hi, I'm Tillotama Shome, and you're watching us on the Hollywood Reporter India at Cannes.
You're watching the Hollywood Reporter India at Cannes 2025. Associate partner Longitude 77. Travel partner Air France. Hydration partner Vedika Himalayan Spring Water. And luxury mobility partner BMW.